This is the Michael Brian Show. Hi everyone, we are up to the final installment of the Ask Mike series, and we have 5 last questions, and I hope these are insightful for you as well. Number 1, what's your favourite thing about being a podcaster / influencer? There are 2 really, and the first one essentially is the people that I'm having the conversations with. They're all insightful, they all have little pieces of advice for me to take away, and then also you, the audience, are taking away and benefiting as well. So that is the second part of this answer, which is you. It's benefiting you. That is one of the favourite things, is being of value and being of some use to you. And that's what it comes down to. It's how helpful I can be, it's how valuable I can be, not just the conversations that I'm having, but the fact that they are helpful and useful for those that are listening. Second question, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Ooh, interesting. Okay. I think the superpower that I would have would be being able to move things and do things with my mind. So my ability to move, say, a pencil or something like that, but then it moves all the way through to being able to fly, because I could be moving myself with the power of my mind. So being able to do that, I could move things without touching them. I could do a lot of things that I couldn't do physically. So that would be mine. And it'd be really cool to be able to fly as well. Number 3, what's the most embarrassing moment you've ever experienced in front of the camera? Okay, so I was living in the Canary Islands at the time, and I was out for a walk. I was actually recording a Facebook Live to my audience, so to you guys, and essentially it started to rain. Wind blew my umbrella mid-camera, so I had it on. I had a camera in one hand, umbrella in the other hand, and I essentially took a little bit of a dive because of the wind, and the umbrella carried me a little bit as well. So I ended up tripping up in the wind and the rain while on a Facebook Live. That's my most embarrassing thing. Okay. 4th question. What's the most interesting or impactful thing you've learned recently? One of the most interesting things and impactful things that I've learned recently is being able to perform things in a easy environment is one thing. Being able to perform the same things under pressure, that's what makes the skill difficult, and that's what makes practicing under pressure helpful, but you need to do both. Doing things in your own time without anyone watching or without any pressure, that's helpful purely to learn it, but then you also need experience in being able to perform it under pressure. Once you can master the skill under pressure, then you've mastered it, because then you're able to handle your emotions and feelings and sensations while you're doing those things. That's different because you can't really teach that without having enough repetition to be able to notice things to then improve them and change them. You have to stress test the thing that you want to learn to become more aware of how much you are capable of. You need to add the stress to see how good you truly are. That's the thing that I've learned recently. And last question. Can you describe an instance when you felt like giving up and how you persevered? So this was actually during the pandemic, when I actually lived alone during the pandemic. I had nobody around during that time, and I was struggling to motivate myself to do things, whether it was for my health, whether it was for the businesses that I run during the pandemic. And how I persevered really was about 3 to 5 steps. The first step was actually not beating myself up, because I was doing that when I was struggling to motivate myself and do things. My self-talk got quite negative, and I thought if I'm beating myself up for doing anything, I'm also not going to want to do that. And then where would I be left then? So first part was trying to be nice to myself, acknowledging the fact that I am actually struggling and I need to be able to get myself out of it. I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to get myself out of it and into a better space mentally if I was nasty to myself about anything that I was doing. So that's number one. Be nice and kind to yourself. Then the second thing was I needed a bit of a pros and cons list for what I was doing currently. What are the benefits and negatives to doing things the way that I'm doing things? Staying in bed all day versus sleeping on the sofa and not really doing anything. What are the benefits of that? And luckily, not to my surprise or yours, the list was not very long. There were a couple, but it wasn't as long as the negatives. And then on the flip side, there were a lot of positives to getting up and even just going for a walk. The list had more benefits to going for a walk every day than not. Much more. And then straight away, that's how I built this habit of going for a walk every day. Then I started reading every day. I started writing every day. I started then building in the habit of, oh, well, this has more benefits than doing nothing. This has more benefits than going to sleep on the sofa. All of these things started to build in this habit. And it was a way of getting my mental thought process down on paper so that I could see it and acknowledge it and be okay with it and realize, oh, actually, doing all of these things are so much better than nothing. And then I actually feel better because I've actually achieved something with my day as well. Even if it's just going for a walk, it's better than nothing. So that's how I started to see it and started to build it. And then eventually, 3 months later, 6 months later, 12 months later, you look back and think, I've actually done more and I feel better and I feel happier. And then you do more when you start to feel better and happier. And it snowballs and ripple effects out across multiple areas of your life. Then once you get that, you then start to direct that towards, well, what do you want to achieve? Where do you want to go? So to start with, anything is better than nothing, but then you start to focus and get the magnifying glass out and really zoom in on what it is that you want, and then you direct this positive energy, you direct this happiness and this new joy and zest for life that you have, and then you put that towards where you want to go. But that's a forward-thinking regime that you're simply not in when you don't want to get out of bed anymore. So you've got to create the environment for you to be future-focused, and then you then start to work towards those things. So start off with your day. Just get better with your day. Just think of the things that are better than doing nothing or better than your current situation, and go from there. That's how I crawled out. That's how I'm still here today. And that's how I'm still here talking to you and hopefully bringing some value to you. So do the things that are better than doing what you're doing now because of these pros and cons lists, and use that to start the process of doing more and doing better. I hope that helps, and I hope that you've got some value and some benefit from these Q&As. I do not think I will be doing an episode 5, so you'll have the pleasure of going back to the usual schedule. I think there was a quote series scheduled in for July, so you'll be able to benefit from that as well. And I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to share these and tell me what you thought, and I will see you at the next episode.